Welcome, Zoniacs. I'm Jim Fannin. I'm your host. Welcome to the ZoneCoach Show. This is a place for peak performers, high achievers, and if that's what you're looking for, you're in the right place to help you be your genuine, authentic, best in everything that you do. But what happens when we get a setback? What happens if someone you care about passes away? That's the ultimate setback. What happens when you have an injury? Things are going great in your athletic career and you get a setback. What happens when you're 2-sets-to-love playing Rafa Nadal in the Australian Open and the odds on you winning have skyrocketed? And then over 5 hours later, you're in the tail end of a bitter defeat. How do you get up one more time after a setback? After a physical setback, a mental setback, or anything in your life that doesn't go your way? How do you get up from defeat? And I really believe success is getting up one more time. As you ascend whatever you're ascending to that peak performance, that Everest, your own Mount Everest, well, there's avalanches, there's detours, there's falls. You can get easily knocked down. The best in the world get up, and they get up better than they went down. That's what this show is all about. And you have to control what you can control. Get up, everybody. If you've had that personal setback, this show will show you how to do it. And we have a special guest that's going to show you exactly how he's done it and how he is doing it on the professional baseball level. Welcome to the Toolbox. You know, when you have a log that goes across the road and you have a detour, and maybe your car runs off the road, maybe you have a flat tire, maybe on the road of life you have a setback. What do? You got to call AAA. We all know that. On the highway of life, we all need AAA. But here's the AAA for peak performance. A, adapt. No matter what happens, lower your breathing, have no overreaction or any reaction, and assess where you are. You get hit in the head, never saw it coming, and you get knocked down. Relax, get your breathing under 10 breaths, clear your mind, make no decision. Basically, be aware and adapt to the situation, the condition, or the circumstance you find yourself. And if you're in a snowstorm, well, adapt and become an Eskimo. And if you find yourself in the desert, well, bundle up with a white scarf so that the sun doesn't bother you. Always adapt when something goes wrong. The second A in AAA, adjust. So what do you adjust? Adjust your strategy. Adjust your tactics. Make an adjustment. And of course, the biggest adjustment is adjust your physiology. When you're going to get up and get up better, get up taller, get up wiser. Take the lesson that you learned, figure out how you got in this place, but more importantly, figure out the blueprint on what is next. Make that adjustment to your strategy or your tactics. And the third A in AAA, adhere. Adhere to your master blueprint, adhere to your principles of how you're going to operate as a business person or in a relationship or in your sport. Always adhere to your core values. Always adhere to you being the best in everything that you can do. So when you have a setback in anything, make sure you pull out AAA. Adapt, adjust, adhere. Well, this show is all about success is getting up one more time from defeat. And there could be a lot of people who's in the zone. It could be Daniil Medvedev, who was winning 2-0 against Rafa Nadal. What's he doing after this collapse? When things are going well and all of a sudden something happens and things aren't going well, that's when the zone performers show up. And I've got a special guest today. I'm so excited to have professional baseball pitcher Jake Eder of the Florida Marlins. Jake, welcome to the ZoneCoach Show.
Thanks for having me.
You know, you had a great college career. You were on a Vanderbilt University national championship team. That's exciting. And the next thing, here you are, you're drafted in the 4th round. You were not a first round draft choice, but you started your season last year. And your first half of the season was amazing. You led the league in minor leagues in ERA, in strikeouts, and that first half was exemplary. Everything is going upward. You're visioning being on the roster full time, the MLB roster. You get voted into the Futures All-Star game. You pitched an inning. It was a great debut. Everything's going for you super well. And then what happened? What knocked you down, Jake?
Yeah, so it was the first start back after the Futures game, and woke up the next morning, had some pain in my elbow, and after getting it checked out, it was kind of on the fence as far as whether we would have to move forward with doing a surgery, Tommy John surgery, or kind of maybe rehab it and see if we could strengthen it up and then come back from that. But either way, it was something that was going to stop me from throwing for the year, and it ended up being that I got the Tommy John surgery.
How did you feel when you realized your season was done? How'd you feel about that?
Um, Shockingly, because of the training that we had done, I pretty much immediately started looking at the positives behind it and what we were going to be able to get out of it. So I didn't really have any kind of negative reaction. In fact, when I drove back from Pensacola after about a week after the decision had been made, I stayed for a few games and I drove home. And on the drive home, I pretty much visualized the whole way where I was going to go, where I was going to be in 2023.
So you basically got up from this setback, created a new super healing blueprint, and you embarked on that super healing quest. Tell the audience some of the visualizations that you did in terms of super healing and how prepared you were to do that.
Yeah, so we had talked about super healing before this, but I didn't have really the understanding that I have of it now, just because I hadn't gone through a major injury. So some of the things that we had done before the surgery was visualizing throwing and seeing how it was going to be. But then in those first weeks when I had a cast on, hard cast, and I was stuck at 90 degrees in the cast, one of the concerns for people is getting full extension back in the elbow. So I visualized it being straight, and it falling straight once it came out of the cast. And then on top of that, I would visualize going into my elbow and cleaning it out and kind of massaging the tissue. And I looked at, I had an anatomy book that I looked at to see kind of what it looked like in there. So I could visualize that and visualize how I wanted it to be, how I wanted it to look, healthy and filled with blood that was healing it. And then 2 weeks after the actual surgery, flew back to LA. The doctor took the cast off, took the stitches out, and my elbow pretty much fell straight right away after he took it out. And that was
he shocked?
Yeah, that was a shock to him. Because it's just not a normal occurrence right after taking the cast off. Usually guys are stiff and kind of stuck at, maybe 45 degrees or something like that. So
Now, it's been about 6 months since the surgery. You not only worked on super healing, which you've done an amazing job. You've rebuilt your arm. Basically, it's a better arm than it was even before the surgery, which is fascinating. The new surgery, but you also went on a quest of improving your concentration. So, besides the super healing, what else did you do to get you to this place right now? Because you're going to be throwing a baseball this week, which is pretty amazing in such a short amount of time. What other things did you do in terms of visualization?
In terms of visualization, I've been throwing. Well, I've been throwing since waking up from the surgery, mentally, and every day since.
So every day you visualize throwing.
Yeah, multiple times. At least twice, probably more than that, because every time I'd frame something, I always throw a few pitches around it. So it's probably more like 3, 4, 5 times, separate times a day. But that, and then just coming up with things other than throwing that I can physically do to hold my concentration, and that includes in the gym and in workouts and stuff. Not just focusing on the physical side, but the mental side, and always having a target, always using score basically to balance a workout every day, so consistently.
You said to me not long ago that the surgery is almost a blessing in a way. How's that a blessing to have a season-ending surgery? What made you have those thoughts that it's a blessing in a way?
Yeah, I said it's a blessing because, number one, the time that I've had and still have to build my mind and body, but this time in a normal year, we've talked about it. In a normal year, I wouldn't have anywhere close to this kind of time to dedicate to building concentration, to doing these things that I'm doing outside of just at home, or times that I would be at the field or have commitments with the team. So that, and then I've learned so many little things about my body, about myself, about you know mechanically, about like these small things that are gonna allow me to have a long career, that and stay healthy going forward, that I didn't really know about until this happened. So that's how
Jake, most people, when they have a setback, the one part of score that really takes a big blow for most people is optimism, confidence, belief. It's easy to have some doubts. Can I come back? Can I be better? How's your optimism, and how was it during this last 6 months after surgery?
It's probably higher than it's ever been, which sounds funny, but just knowing that, and we've talked about this too, but knowing that I'm in control, and knowing all these, that what I'm doing every day, how disciplined I am, how the work that I'm doing on the concentration, how I'm reaching new levels with that, and I know that will translate directly into pitching and getting back on the mound. So that's why my concentration's higher than it's ever been, or sorry, my optimism's higher than it's ever been, and it's going to keep going up because I'm continuing to push the boundary with that.
I said this, I think, the first time I met you a year and a half ago. You're so much more than a baseball player. Obviously, a pro athlete puts all their happy eggs in one basket. And when there's a setback, it has a tendency to alter the rest of the life, the relationships, being a good brother. I know you've had a blueprint for your entire life, and you haven't put all your happy eggs in one basket. How has that worked out for you, and how do you feel about that?
I mean, basically, I would just say that it's allowed me to get in the zone in every part of my life. So, I when I'm in my baseball arena doing baseball stuff, my discipline's really high, concentration's high, everything score is really high, but it's an intense focus. And then once I get out of that, I'm able to transition easily to the next thing, whether it's hanging out with my brother, hanging out with my mom, my dad, or just going fishing, whatever it is. It just allows me to be where my feet are, be in the zone doing that, and that also makes sure that I'm not thinking too much in one arena and getting burnt out, like in uh, how it's easy to do, like you were saying, in a sports arena, carrying that over to other arenas.
Man's at his best sometimes when things are at its worst. And you definitely had a defeat that you turned into a positive. But there's one thing that you've done that really sticks out to me, and that's you've managed your relaxation level. And tell me about that, your breathing and how cognitive you are of your breathing and how you're in control of that. How often do you think about just breathing, being relaxed and comfortable?
Yeah, I think the awareness of it. I wouldn't necessarily even say thinking about it. I just because we've been working on it for so long that it just more like intuitively I will notice it if it elevates. So I'll become aware of it very quickly and can easily lower it and make that adjustment. But I don't consciously think about it that much really anymore. I did more when I was first starting, learning about it and working on controlling my breathing. But now it's gotten to an intuitive level, definitely, and I don't consciously think about it much. It just kind of happens naturally.
When your blueprint gets derailed by an injury, there's a tendency for your thoughts to increase and shoulda, coulda, woulda. All of those things can factor in someone's healing and what's next for them. Are you thinking more or are you thinking less since this injury?
Definitely less. For I wasn't thinking much before, to be honest, but I think it's made it. This time has just allowed me to really put up a barrier between arenas and be very aware of what arena I'm in, so that way, when once I'm done with one, I close the book on it, and I don't feel the urge or need to think about it again unless I want to, and then I can, but I'm in control of it.
Jake, you've got a bright future. You probably climbing this mountain to whatever you want to, wherever you want to go. Bring your sunglasses, some oxygen, and maybe some sun lotion. Your future is obviously bright. I'm looking forward to what's next for you. And I will say one thing: the Florida Marlins are fortunate to have a performer on their roster like you. So, what you've done since before the injury, since the injury, very exemplary. Jake, you're in the zone. Stay the course. And do you have any parting thoughts?
Uh, I would just say be in the zone. It's the only place to be.
Jake, thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Zoniacs, there are a lot of people in our lives, your life, my life, our lives, Zoniacs, that have been knocked down, that are having challenges, that are not handling the defeat that just happened to them in their personal life, their professional life, or their wellness life. Family, friends, neighbors, co-workers. Help them with some positivity. Help them by being the rock while they're having their challenges. So Zoniacs, share the show. Make sure that you subscribe. Let's build our tribe of peak performers and high achievers, and bring your neighbors, co-workers, family, and friends into this small circle of people that look for solutions, especially when things don't go their way. Make sure to subscribe, make sure to share, and then have a conversation about the show on how it pertains to you and your friend, your colleague, or your family members. The palm tree, one of my favorite living organisms. When you have to adapt to something that's not going your way, the first thing is to be a palm tree in a hurricane. What does that mean? Well, the palm tree sees the hurricane, it's the first line of defense. It absorbs the negativity. And you do the same. Unhinge your jaw, relax your tongue, and absorb whatever is happening at that moment. No reaction. Don't fight it. Of course, that's why there's no oak trees on the beach. Their branches would be broken, their roots, well, they're going to be pulled out of the ground. Be a palm tree. And one of the aspects of being a palm tree, lower your breathing under 10 breaths a minute. Every week we check our breathing. Hopefully you're doing it on a daily basis, but I'm going to set my alarm right now, 1 minute. And Zoniacs, I'll say on your mark, get set, go. Shut your eyes, unhinge your jaw. Let's prepare for whatever comes our way, because we're going to adapt and adjust to the changing circumstances and conditions. One long inhale, hold it 1 second. Long exhale, hold it a second. That's one breath. Your goal is 6 to 8 breaths in this 1 minute, as opposed to the average person 15 to 17, and the people that are fear-based, anxiety-based, and having all kinds of challenges, their breathing will go way over 20. Zoniacs, find the calm. On your mark, get set, go. Unhinge your jaw. Eyes are soft. Face relaxed. Shoulders relaxed. Fill your lungs. Empty your lungs. Control your breathing. Find your serenity, peace, tranquility. Find your place of being calm, especially during adversity. Relax and breathe. Focus only on your breathing and stop. 1 minute. Zoniac, how'd you do? Control your breathing. Be a palm tree when things don't go your way. This is part of AAA. Adapt, adjust, but adhere to your SCORE principles and your core values. Be the palm tree in life's hurricanes. Now let's look inside the mailbag. Well, I got an interesting email. My husband and I are not on the same page and we're struggling to reconnect. There is no intimacy, there's no discussion about us. It's all about our children. There is no shared vision, which was last week's show. And then here's the question: what do I do? When you're in a situation, one of you, and it needs to be you need to go to a higher place. Get your own discipline, get your own focus, get your own confidence, get your own calm, cool. Go to a higher place, but have your arm reached out with your significant other. You're basically saying, I'm going here. I'm going to go here with or without you. You don't tell them that, but you're doing that. And with your hand out, please join me. But one of you must make the move. So let that be you. Go to a higher place. Adapt, adjust, adhere to your principles. And now, welcome to the Zone Cafe. On the road of life, you can pull up to the Zone Cafe at any time. We're open 24/7. We only have 5 menu items. You can only order one. You can come back and order later. What do you need right now? And definitely if you've had a setback, what do you need? Do you need self-discipline, that willingness, that commitment to stay with a group of tasks or routines to reach very measurable, well-defined goals that lead you to a vision, patience, persistence, a blueprint? Do you need self-discipline? If you do, we're cooking some up on the griddle. You need some self-discipline, take it away with you. But maybe you have that blueprint. Do you need to focus? Do you need to narrow your focus? Do you need to send mental and physical energy on the task at hand that lead to the goals and the vision? Do you need concentration? We got a big bag of it at the Zone Cafe, but maybe you need optimism. Maybe you have some doubt. Maybe you have low belief or even low expectancy. Typically, you may have that if you've had a setback, something that you didn't expect to happen at all. So if you need some optimism, we got a slab of optimism. And as soon as you take that, you're going to feel like nothing can go wrong. But you might need the palm tree, the cool drink. And as soon as you have a sip, oh my goodness, your breathing's under 10 breaths a minute, definitely in the 6 to 8 breaths. So if you need to relax and just chill out, order the relaxation drink. But maybe you have all of the ingredients I've just mentioned, but you're missing a little pep in your step, a little enthusiasm. We've got a happy meal, and we got a lot of those. So if you need some enjoyment, order that, and immediately it'll put a smile on your face. Welcome to the Zone Cafe. You can only choose one thing. What do you need right now that you can take with you into a Zone week coming up? Welcome to the Zone Cafe. This show is about perseverance. This show is about getting up after you've been knocked down. Make up your mind, if I do have a setback, and we don't want them, but always be prepared to get up better than when you got knocked down. Learn from it. Learn how you got in that situation. Some of it is beyond your control. It is. So, in your getting up one more time, control only what you can control. You can control your thoughts, you can control your breathing, and you can control the blueprint that's going to take you to the next level of you being your simple, balanced, abundant self. Zoniacs, the ZoneCoach Show is all about peak performance. It's all about high achievers and being that purposeful, calm zone, because you know it's the only place to be. Next.